Green Lantern's Rebirth, which for me was probably the one that I was the most kind of
Hesitant.
hesitant. That's a good word. That's a perfect word for it. Not because of. I mean, I've not really read anything by Humphreys, who wrote this, and of course, Johns helped him write this, and Ethan Van Sciver is the artist.
It felt like traditional Green Lantern. Well,
Yeah.
traditional John's Green Lantern, I
Yeah.
should say.
Yeah. So getting into this, I will say that I liked it. I do have some reservations. Mainly, one of the big things for me when we hit the New 52 after Jones's epic run, which was for the most part fantastic, is I was kind of ready to be done with space and space operas and these giant prophecies about wars of light and all that. I was like, can we just get back to Green Lantern being on Earth and dealing with things happening? And I was really hopeful, and we never got that, right? Because Vendetti's run certainly wasn't that from the...
No, that was more Uber space threats.
Yeah. So
instead, Hal was turned into a fugitive again, because he can't do anything right.
Yeah, it was kind of I was like, time for again a difference. Like what's been good has been good, but it's time to have a change of pace. And when we heard that this was going to be Simon, Baz, and Jessica Cruz as the Earth Lanterns, I was like, oh, good. I was kind of, and there's still a good lot in this to support the fact that that's what it'll probably be. But I have to admit, the opening scene with one of the Guardians like being chased with all these monsters in space and a box with this light thing and this new unleashed power, I was like, oh my god, no, don't. Can we not do this?
Oh no, see, I had the opposite reaction. I went, hell yeah, let's do this. Because while I did get tired of the War of Lights, just because I wanted to see more of the core and not the entities, and that's what it just became focused on, was all the different entities that Johns had created. This, though, you have the Dominators show up, and they are so inept, traditionally, at doing anything, that seeing them swarm and actually be good at was a nice change-up. Although, it could be argued that they're still not that good, because the guy opened the box, and the Lost Guardian, and ended all that. But yeah, I felt at home.
I'm interested on because obviously Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns doesn't get a Rebirth issue, so this is doing the same as what the Superman one did, set up for both books. Is this going to play out in Green Lanterns or Hal Jordan?
I hope it's the latter.
I'm thinking it might be because that's the space-based one.
Yeah.
Well, but you also have Atrocitus, because he's the one that is narrating the beginning.
Yeah, but they already said they're going to be the villains in the first arc on this book,
right.
Green Lanterns, so it would kind of make sense that this box of light thing is going to be more to do with Hal Jordan. So that you may be right, yeah.
He's looking for both, so this might be the tie-in, but I still feel very much that Jessica and Simon are going to be the Earth-based Green Lanterns, and they're still going to intervene.
Yeah, I hope that they're Earth-based and it's their beat. That was something they said at the WonderCon thing, that Earth is their beat. Yeah. And I hope that's kind of the feel we get of it. But that's the first 3 pages. The rest of the book, of course, we catch up with Simon Baz, and he's wiping terrorist graffiti off his sister's house again. I don't know if that happened before, but I certainly remember it being mentioned or something that.
Well, I like the FBI guy that seems like a Coulson type.
Yeah.
To where he seems antagonistic, but they're also friendly.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more of their relationship. I hope we get a bit of that, because it looks like it could be fun.
Yeah, I think that was something else, actually, is I felt like the Earth supporting cast of Green Lantern kind of faded away as it got more space-based.
Yep.
And I'm kind of hoping that we get a strong supporting cast here of this FBI guy, of Jessica's family. Like give us the support team. For their lives.
I have a question. How long has Baz been Green Lanterning at this point?
They said a couple weeks.
I like how you said Green Lanterning.
Right.
Yeah.
Later on, when he says that he's been Green Lantern longer, she says a couple of weeks, which really took me back, because
because this FBI guy it implies that it's been going on a while, like they have this relationship already.
And also, he's been a Green Lantern since in real time for like 3 years now.
Yeah,
he did was it JLA?
Yeah, it was JLU. That was JLU.
Right, okay. Yeah. But he did that for what, 12 issues? I don't know how long that was.
He was in that. Yeah.
because they said he was off doing stuff across the galaxy. He came back, and so yeah, who knows? If this is his fresh start, though, I can look past all of this.
Yeah, it's
Especially since
because
I was going to say he was kind of forgotten after John's finished his run in Green Lantern. He was kind of I mean, he was in JLAU, but he was just kind of there.
yeah.
You know? I can kind of accept that.
I like that he's the antagonistic jerk Green Lantern because I love Guy Gardner.
Oh, by the way, actually, now you brought up Guy Gardner, I was like, the thing that made me laugh more than anything else in comics this week was when he meets Jessica, he's like, wait, did one of them die? One usually dies.
Yeah.
Please tell him it was Guy Gardner.
Guy
That
Gardner.
line cracked me up so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
So
that's the thing that makes me feel he's been at it for a while. He knows Kai
Yeah,
enough
exactly.
to know that he wants him dead.
but I feel like we could spend 30 minutes with Guy and be like, yeah, he can be taken out by a space monster. And be fine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And that's why I love Guy Gardner, because we all know, if you've read more than one of his issues, that's just a front, and he really is a caring, nice guy. So I surely like him more than some of the other Lanterns, and I wonder, there was really no mention of Kyle either.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
So that's a bit weird, because the main focus on the Open was on Hal and John.
Yeah.
Which should be, because those are the two most iconic.
Yeah, I mean, there was like one little box that mentioned all the other ones after them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was mainly those two that they mentioned. But so we get an update on Simon, and that's in the FBI guys talking to him, and it ends where the next scene's going to end as well, with the ring saying blah blah blah, come to this location, there's a thing happening.
Yep.
Right. So we go over to Jessica, and we meet Jessica's sister, and we get like a little update of her life, and I think Jessica's going to go and live with her. So, which is why I'm thinking she's going to be a supporting,
Yep.
cast member here, and we're going to actually get to see that relationship. And I actually really like Jessica. My takeaway from this book is that she's one of my favourite newer characters that have been introduced recently.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
I like her. I like her spunk.
Although, keep in mind that at the end of John's run, there was that teaser that things could go bad with her down the line. So,
I don't care.
you guys don't remember that?
Yeah, but how much will they
Vaguely.
actually...
Well, John's helped plan this out, so...
Yeah, but that could just be a tease for a story. That could be a tease for a story where she kind of goes bad, but then by the end of it, she's a hero. Like, I don't really think that's...
Well, whatever it is, I'm excited, because she already has some
Let's be
built-in
honest,
stuff.
it wouldn't be the first drop plot line, would it?
No.
Yeah, I actually really like her character. So what? She ends up becoming a villain at some point. She could easily become.
I'm just
good
saying,
again.
she's not... I'm just saying, she's not going anywhere. Like, that doesn't take away from her being a favorite new one.
Yeah.
Right? It's just that John's did have plans for her to be a big character.
It'll just make it hurt that much more if she does.
That's my point.
But it'll feel that much better when she redeems herself.
Right.
Yeah.
If we actually care about her. And so far, I actually do really care about her.
Right.
I think she's a...
I quite like the sister as well. I thought it was a really nice contrast between the two of them. Like,
Yeah,
her being
'cause she's-
really peppy and
Yeah, she's peppy and she's more sarky and...
yeah.
Playing soccer in Portland. A bunch of hipsters. Sorry.
So they go out to get a crash ship, and they have the first meeting, and they have no idea who each other are, basically. Well, she's heard of him, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was fun, and that's where the joke came up. But a manhunter pops up, and do you know what? It's been so long since I've
Seen
read...
these guys in forever.
I know, it's been so long since I've read Green Lantern, because I basically, I read a couple of Vendettas issues, didn't like it, and stopped. That I was like, oh yeah, manhunters, they were a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No man escapes the manhunter. Oh, yeah, that was a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm glad he said that, because I might not have just recognised it from the design.
That's exactly why they had that line there.
Yeah.
I know it's an iconic line anyway, but it's just so. Oh, okay, I know what these are.
Yeah, it's like it all came flooding back what they were, and like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, good.
But I think that's really smart writing. That you don't have to do any sort of exposition apart from that one line of introduction, and you know exactly who
Right.
it is.
Yeah, but it's all a ruse, of course. It's all a ruse.
Training exercise.
Yeah, because Hal Jordan shows up, and he's like the drill sergeant, and he
Which
merges.
is so weird to me.
I know it's because we always think of him being the young punk that's getting trained.
Right.
Yeah. But it's nice spending
Yeah,
things,
well-
and it adds to that whole idea of legacy, which we've been talking about with Rebirth, and that he's now graduated to being the mentor type role.
Yep.
Although that said, he's still
Well,
going to be on his
see-
own book, doing his own things, but you know.
Yeah, but still, he's becoming like the man that he was in the '70s, where he was the right leaning guy and Ollie was the left leaning guy, and that's why you put them together. They balance. Um, but here, yeah, it was also a thing where you're talking about legacy. Is that it was really smart that you take the Arabic American and Jessica Cruz, who has a Latino last name, and it just feels natural for these non-white characters. Like they weren't forced in there.
I didn't even really think about it, to be honest.
I mean, but think about it.
It's probably better. I mean, I didn't even think about it. They were just there and they clicked, and that's good enough. That's all
Exactly. And it's not beating you over the head and being like, "Hey, look how cool it is." It's like, no, these are just two characters, and
it didn't even cross my mind. It's like, yeah, these are the two newbies. Let's throw them together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
And
you know what?
that's great.
I have to say, I do really like that there's a Hispanic hero, because I really couldn't think of one. Not I could think of an Arabic one either, but
outside of Vibe.
I
but
think
that's not Vibe.
Kyle's supposed to be.
is it?
Yeah, his dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
they kind of forgot about it for a long time, and they kind of brought it back in Omega Men. The way they
Yeah.
draw him in that, it shows. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much been forgotten.
But either way,
Oh,
with
Matt,
all
your
this
mate,
diversity in
your mate,
comics,
your mate, for fuck's sake, Jesus Christ.
Man Hunter.
Making the most of it.
Do you know, it's funny actually. Hispanic's one of those races that's so like in comics, because you're drawing it and it's just a little slight bit of colouring that it's not always obvious. So I can like sometimes you can kind of forget that one.
Yeah.
Because depending on the colouring, it may just look the same as the white people. But
Yeah, especially given all the lighting effects with the greens and the fires.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
To just
But I just wanted to my point that people, want to talk about diversity in comics, and right here they did it, and it didn't feel forced.
Yeah,
and you know
And
what?
they
I
pulled
don't
it
see
off.
this getting any praise for it either.
which is a shame.
No.
I think that is a shame because when it's done well, like you don't see it getting praised. I don't think. Like a good example is the movie The Martian.
Right?
Like such a mixed cast, and no one mentions it because it's just done
Nope.
well. And
Yeah, it's natural. Whereas the time it gets brought up is when it's forced, and that's when I think it fails a little bit. It shouldn't feel forced.
Right.
yeah, you shouldn't think about it. It should just be they're just together.
Right. And that also in a book where there's aliens and space wars, you have the most diverse human cast in Green Lantern.
Yeah.
With Hal, John, Simon, Jessica. You have a Ginger and Guy Gardner. Another half Hispanic and Kyle. Like it's just so that's cool, and I like that. So
Nah.
Green Lanterns.
So plot wise though, what this sets up here is that Hal actually merges their batteries so that they can only recharge if they're together.
I really like the panel where he does it. I think it looks
Yeah.
great.
He's like a fed up dad. Going, if you two can't get along, you're gonna make you get along.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that it forces them to actually have to, they can't just show up and fight and then go away and leave. There has to be some sort of more relationship. They call this like a buddy cop movie.
Yep.
With these two, and it actually kind of feels like that, where they have to interact outside of their lives a little bit more like cop partners would have to.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they gotta say the oath in unison.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that should add some comedy. It's like, no, okay, 1, 2, 3. And then by the a couple arcs in, they're just doing it second nature, and they're a unit.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
It also makes them rely on each other if the powers are running out. I mean, it's not total Firestorm reliance on the other person, but it's
Right.
enough of it to give it like a plot sort of not a crutch. What's the opposite of crutch? A plot handicap where there's this obstacle they have to
Yeah.
Even that's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at.
It's
I get what
just a
you
good
mean.
team building exercise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
So, actually, Joe, probably my favourite moment of this book actually is though, in the grand scheme of things, is I like that the Green Lantern Corps not really there to help you train right now. So he says, but luckily we have the Justice League, and I like that he passes that on to them.
Yeah.
Because obviously Hal's like friends with them anyway, so he would trust them to do it. But I just like the idea that okay, you can't be trained by the Corps, but you've got this.
And it's
Yeah, there
another
is a-
legacy thing.
Yeah, I like that there's a support system in place for them,
Yeah.
and it'll be nice to see them interact with the Justice League as well.
Yeah.
It's obviously Jessica does anyway. We've seen that, but
Right.
in her new role as a rookie rather than as part of their team
Yeah.
could be fun.
And also, because I mean, I remember when we saw who the cast of Justice League was, and we're like, oh, it's Baz and Jessica. That's interesting.
Yep.
And then it kind of makes sense because like they're being trained by them. So
They're kind of like interns.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, you're gonna learn from these guys how to do what we do.
What I really want is for the Justice League at one point to just like go, ugh, let's just hand them to the Titans.
and then
Work
Dick
the way up.
and Dick and Wally, all right, let's give them to the teen crew. Damien, train them.
David's like, I'm your boss.
Oh, I'd love to see that. That'd be great.
Actually, I do want to see Damien and Simon interact because each would not take what the other is
That
giving.
is true. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Joe, I'd actually really like to see. I actually kind of want to see Damien interact with old 52 Superman now. I want to see Damien, like, I don't know, just.
I think there should be a book of Damien reacting, just interacting with everyone.
Yeah, there should be
It's
a
like
team.
the Hitler reacts stuff. It's just Damien reacts.
It's
should
just
be a-
like Damien meets.
Yeah, there should be a team. Yeah, like a revolving like, double team act where it's just always Damien and
Yeah.
ex
Brax and the
superhero.
Bold.
Yeah.
Bold.
I like it.
I mean, remember that issue of Brian Q. Miller's Batgirl where Damien meets
Yep.
Stephanie Brown and they have that issue where she
I don't
tries to
need
teach him to be
I
a
don't
kid.
need a babysitter. We'll tell that to your dad. I don't need a babysitter. And, like, it was fantastic.
Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, so that's the setup, and then we just find out at the end who's been narrating, and it's Atrocitus and the Red Lanterns are going to be the villains, which means more Red Lantern Cat, whose name I've forgotten, but I love him.
Oh, I used to know that.
I did as well.
I used to know as well. It's been so long since I've read
They
Green
have
Lantern stuff.
Fleas and oh man, Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
I
disgraced
had
at
I had to
myself.
pull deep. It was funny. See, I have a Green Lantern poster on this wall right here. So I just had to look up, and it came to me.
Inspiration, yeah.
Yes.
So as far as this book goes, though, I really like what I thought I'd like. I liked, and that was the two characters and their interactions, and I'm hoping that that'll
Yeah.
be the standout of this book going forward and what they focus on. So, nah.